Alright, so I the Lord wants me to do this, and I wasn't um I wasn't thinking about this at all, really. Um, but the Lord wants me to do this, and you're probably wondering what's on your screen right now. Like, what are you looking at? So I had a dream a couple days ago. Um, it was like I didn't write it down because it was so surreal, and nothing really like crazy happened. It's just it was so specific to me that I didn't write it down because I thought like, okay, this is from the Lord, but it was so specific to me that I didn't write it down because like it was so surreal and so like specific to me that I didn't think I'd forget it, and I don't think I'll forget it, although I may write it down later. But just bear with me because you're probably wondering what you're looking at on the screen. Um, Let me just get started. So, in this dream, I was in like a sort of like a large airport, but not inside the airport. I was out, like I was out where you would like launch a plane from. I was out on the runway. Now, this runway, um, was not. It was very dirty, and it was very like literally like dirt, like covered the major like there was no pavement. It was literally like a dirt runway. Like it was a dirt like it was literally a dirt runway. Um, and you can imagine the size of just think of your average airport. Imagine the size of the field that the runways usually take up. That's the size. Um, and I was near the left side of this this uh, this airfield uh, thing. Um, and basically, what happened was um, I knew that like where I was in the dream, I knew that I was I was not uh how do I put this? I knew I couldn't get caught, but I didn't know what I couldn't get caught by. I was in this dirt airfield, right? And standing on the airfield on the left side, as I said, I was on like the edge of the fence that would be like in the very very front of the airfield. So I'm like I'm on the left on the bottom left side of the airfield, right? And next to me, is this uh, fenced off section, um, probably like 20 yards, no, probably like 50 yards across, and like 100 yards back. And in this section, was basically like a bunch of like trucks. Um, I think some of them were like fuel trucks, but other trucks were just regular like trucks that had like the compartments on the back. Um, but like I said, when I was standing on the airfield, I was like, I had the feeling that I couldn't get seen or caught. And so what happened was I started like running to my left towards that area I mentioned that was fenced off that had like the trucks in it because I thought I could go over there and hide. And there were some guards, um, kind of standing, uh, like just outside the fence where this truck area was, but there weren't many of them. It was probably only like two or three, and they were spaced out a lot. And as I began to go over towards the fence that would lead into the truck spot, there was like this giant jet that kind of flew a ways off, probably like 4 or 5 football fields away, and it before it landed, it basically turned into like this giant robot, um, and it stood up and started walking around intently, as if like looking for something, and it really felt like it was looking like specifically for me. And when this happened, when I saw it walking around and like looking, intently at the ground, like looking around, um, because it wasn't walking fast, but it was looking intently, like it was, it was locked in, like it was focused intently on finding what it wanted to find. Um, and so when I saw that it was like walking around looking intently, I said, like I verbally said out, like out of my mouth, Lord, and like I didn't say like the the full sentence of like Lord help me or like Lord save me or like Lord hide me. I just said Lord, as and it was just like I didn't say the whole thing, but it was like the feeling of like Lord hide me, Lord save me. Even though I only said like Lord, it was like the feeling of like Lord help me, Lord save me, Lord hide me, like Lord keep me hidden. And after I said Lord, I realized like it wouldn't be able to see me, and so I ran quickly, like near sprinted over to that area where I said um those trucks were. None of the guards spotted me, and so when I got into the area where the trucks were, I began to walk, um, kind of slyly, like I'd go behind one truck, and I'd move and I'd check, to see the coast is clear. Then I moved behind another truck, and I checked to see if the coast is clear. Then I moved behind another truck, and I checked to see if the coast is clear. And it got to like about three trucks where I saw my uh, one of basically like my partner from my youth, like my dude. Um, he my he's dang near like a brother to me. Um, and how y'all people have like best friends and whatnot. And so he was there, but he was also with a group of like three other people. And so when I saw him, I don't remember the words that I told him, but I told him and the group something about um, basically like warning them not to be seen. And I don't think I tried to get them to follow me, but they were going in a certain direction that I tried to tell them not to go in. Because again, like I didn't try to get them to follow me, but I saw that they were going in the direction of where that giant robot was like looking intently, and I tried to discourage them from going in that direction, but they went over anyways. And the reason being they didn't listen to me was because there was a truck compartment, like a truck carriage compartment that they saw that they were going to go into hide, and that was the one I was trying to discourage them not to hide in because I thought they'd get spotted there, but they didn't listen to me, and they went. The four of them went into the truck compartment, and after they went through it, you could see these kind of like spotlights, these white spotlights. By the way, this wasn't at nighttime. This was during the day. Yet you could see these, or it wasn't really during the day. It was kind of like about to be evening, but either way, you could see these as soon as they got through the compartment of the truck. Um, you could see these white spotlights on the other side. That um, oh, screen came off. Screen falling asleep. Um, you could see these uh, spotlights that basically like spotted them, and I didn't I didn't see what happened to them, and I didn't hear what happened to them. I just knew that they got spotted, and so I ran in the opposite direction, and I looked for another truck to hide behind. Um, and the dream kind of like ended there. But the reason I'm bringing up this picture is because this is the closest thing I can find to what I saw in the dream. And let me just say this right now: I'm not saying the dream is representative of something else, right? So this isn't like me going up here saying that there was a literal giant robot that's going to come after me in the future. That's not what I'm saying. The reason I'm showing you this picture and the reason I mentioned the dream was surreal because it was so specific to me is because when I was growing up, I used to watch this cartoon called The Transformers. And basically in this cartoon, it was literally like robots that changed into like cars, jets, like mechanical things, right? And when I was growing up, that was like my main like thing. Like that was my like bread and butter. Like that was my like I couldn't wait to see like new episodes. I couldn't like I had toys from it. I was like really like this was my thing. I know for some people it's like Star Wars, and like other people they got like DC comics and stuff like that. But when I was growing up, the Transformers was like the thing that I like attached. Like that was what I like. That's what I thought was cool as a kid. Um, and so like basically like the giant robot that I saw in my dream was this dude called Megatron in the Transformers cartoon, which is basically like he's a leader of a, let's say, like a like tyrannical type of a group of robots called the Decepticons. And again, like the dream was very surreal because the reason I kept saying it, like I said, it was specific to me, was because it was something like that. The Transformers cartoon like franchise thing, like that was something that I held like in high like regard, right? When I grew up, and it's just it was interesting to me that the Lord chose that imagery to show like I've had times before where like there okay, so I've had a dream before where the Lord showed me and I was being chased by these wolves, and the wolves were like the wolves represented men, but they were like dire wolves. They were starving, like ravenous, like waiting to destroy, right? And the reason the Lord showed me that imagery, I know, is because those wolves represented men that knew that they were doing wrong, knew that um, they were doing wrong, but they were still, anyways, more vicious than ravening wolves. Like the men were more vicious than starving, dark, ravening wolves. And the Lord showed me in the dream that He was like protecting me from those men at that time. And so, in the same way, in this dream, when I was uh, going through that airfield, this giant towering robot off in the distance is looking through the airfield intently looking for me, and the Lord hid me from not only its vision, but also the guards' vision that were like guarding the fence where the trucks were. Um, and so I don't know who this is for, but um, there's coming a time when all of your vision, like all of your direction and vision, like will have to be dependent on the Lord. Which it's good to do it now, obviously, but as the Lord says in His Word, the just shall walk by faith and not by sight. And there's a big key there in not by sight, because even now, people walking by sight are they're very, they're deaf and blind to what is uh, like happening in the world, like as far as like reality and not just what they're seeing. And so many go this way, many go that way, but they don't have like the truth. And I'm saying to you today, like, because I don't know who this is for, because it was such a specific thing to me, and yet the Lord wanted me to do this video. Um, and so I don't know who this is for, but I tell you, there's a time coming when um, walking by faith and not by sight will be the determining factor. Um, Using the Lord's lens and not the world's lens or your own lens will be the determining factor. Um, and I dare say that time is already here, because there's certain things that are happening to me and that are going to happen that I won't get into in this video, that I'm literally like waiting on certain things and doing certain things in faith that the Lord will do as He showed me. And so, again, I don't know who this is for, but I know the Lord's going to do something with it, because He wanted me to do this video. And this is way unexpected, because, again, like the dream was so specific to me that I didn't even write it down, because just something that I like. I remember the feeling of like, Lord, hide me. Like I remember that feeling that I had, like, Lord, hide me. Um, but yeah, man, I hope you can receive this. Faith, not sight. Faith, not sight. Not what you see. If you hear footsteps, faith. If you see something, faith. Always faith. Faith over everything. Jesus over everything. Faith over everything. I hope you can receive this.